Hello one and all, and welcome back to the FM19 Dortmund base here with me, Throughball FM. Today it's going to be the final episode of the series, and I'm just really looking forward to it because we've got some strange stuff happening and that I'm going to show you right now. Right, so the first thing that I want to look at is the league table, because remarkably, with 3 games to go, somehow we can still win the league. We played 31 games, we've got 3 games to go, and we are 7 points behind Bayern, who are on an awful run in the Bundesliga. And all it's going to take is for Bayern to win another game, and they've put the title beyond our reach. However, I just think I cannot believe, and I want it to come back, because if something does happen, if something amazing does happen, I do not want to miss it. And there's the Leipzig complication as well, which we'll get to. Right, so let's break this down, okay? So we are 7 points behind FC Bayern with 3 games to go. Leipzig are 4 points ahead of us, but we have a game in hand. So say that we win that game in hand, we are 1 point behind Leipzig. Now, one of Leipzig's last games are against Bayern at home. So we need Leipzig to beat Bayern. Now, what that will mean for the Bundesliga table is that they will go on to 68 points. So they'll have 68 points, played 33 games. Say that we are on 33, played 33, and we win both of our games. That would leave us on 67. Are you with me? Okay, so 67 points. Leipzig will be on 68, and we'd have one game to go. Right. So what that would then mean, was that Leipzig would then have to lose, because our goal difference is so inferior to Leipzig, we'll then have to lose away to Werder Bremen on the last day of the season. Now, however unlikely it is, this could be one of the greatest Football Manager YouTube captured on camera comebacks of all time, because we were nowhere near the title for pretty much all of the season. Now, I'll just show you Bayern's little run that they've been on. So if you take a look at their schedule. In terms of Bundesliga games, Bayern have lost, won, lost, drew, lost to us, drew, and then it kind of picks up from back there. But it all started almost with this Wolfsburg game. If you look, that is no wins in 1, no wins in 2, no wins in 3, no wins in 4. So they've gone 4 games there without a win. Then they got back to winning ways. No, they actually went 5 games without a win. Then got back to winning ways against Freiburg and have lost again. So in the last 7 games, Bayern Munich have won 1 game, drawn 3, and lost 3. So, that is just incredible. And the fact that we're still in this is just unbelievable. I mean, they also play Werder Bremen as well. So they play each other and Werder Bremen, both teams. So what this means is, again, we need Leipzig potentially to win that. I mean, they could draw. They could both draw. But I don't know where that would leave Bayern. So if they did draw, they'd be on 69. So actually, yes, we could still 369. Yeah, we could still win if they drew and if Bayern drew and then lost their other 2 games. So what we have to do then is hope that Bayern then either draw or lose against Leipzig and then lose the last 2 games, which are both at home against sort of mid-table clubs. Werder Bremen sort of towards the lower reaches. But you know what? They lost 2-0 at home to Hanover. And although Jerome Boateng did get sent off, it can happen. And I just think that we needed to come back for this. But yeah, enough of that explaining, because we've got 3 games potentially to get through. What I'll do is, we'll just take a look at our schedule, because we need to go through obviously what's happened with us. And the frustrating thing is that we lost to Schalke in here, but we'll get to that. So after the Mainz game, obviously we played against Freiburg and we beat them 2-1. Sergio Gomez has been in a good bit of form. I decided to put him in the team and he repaid the faith. Obviously he did get an assist in this game in the Mainz game as well, and had a good game. So we played him again and he had an even better game in this one. Been really pleased with Sergio Gomez's contribution. Then we played Schalke and we did not deserve to lose the game. Take a look at the match stats. It's the same old story, but both of the goals were the same. There were balls over the top that the defenders just didn't deal with. I'll just show you Guido Bergstaller's goal here. And it probably will take a while to generate the match report, because that's what it does. Okay, so I don't know how long this highlight will be, but we started out on the attack, and I thought, here we go, we're going to have a really good game here. We brought Marco Reus back in for the game, and he was awful. Gomez gave it away there. Sebastian Ruiz hit it up the pitch. Diallo came out to head it, and Moreno with a nice ball across for Piszczek, but I'm pretty sure that Piszczek just lost the ball here. Yeah, he did. And then Rudy to Harry too, just played a ball over the top. Now look, in that position, okay, Mustafi should deal with that. What I can't understand is if we just take it back a touch here, what I can't understand is that Harry's played this ball, right? Diallo, he's not slow, Diallo's got really, really good pace. Diallo just does not follow him. If we just going to take the speed down, so speed during highlights, we're just going to take it down, okay? So Diallo there is backpedaling, decides just not to follow it. He thinks, all right, okay, Mustafi's got this right. Mustafi in this position, probably thinking, okay, this is all right. And then somehow he just doesn't get there, and Burgstaller gets on the end of it and absolutely fires one into the corner. But Guido Burgstaller's got a lot of goals this season. And I will show you the other goal as well, because this is going to be a bit of an extended episode, because it's going to be the last one. So it is episode 10. I feel like it's a natural place to end the series, really. But yeah, I'll show the other goal as well from Mark Uth, if we get back on there. Okay, so it's just taking me off there, but yeah, we'll go back on here. Mark Uth, 18th minute goal. So we'll take a look at this one. It's very similar. Obviously, we'll have to speed this up a little bit now. Yeah, so this is Rahman, and there's the ball over the top again, and the defenders just didn't deal with it once again, and that also was very, very infuriating. We'll just take that back once more. If we just take another look at the Uth goal, it wasn't as long a highlight this time, so it wasn't so bad, but we just take the speed on it down, and yeah, just take it back once again. So if you look at Rahman, the ball over the top there, you think, oh, we're okay, right? So we've got Mustafi there again, not a slow defender, fairly quick, okay? We've also got Piszczek there, who's fair enough. He's fairly old, but again, he's pretty quick. Diallo should come in on the cover, and again, he's a very, very quick centre back. So you're thinking, oh, it's okay there, especially there. I mean, look, what is Mustafi doing? Why is Mustafi leaving Piszczek to chase that? I don't understand. I don't understand what Mustafi's doing. Mustafi could even there. While he's there, just give him a little chip, just give him a little, just give him a little cheeky foul. So anyway, it goes on, and Piszczek's chasing him. Mustafi's asleep. Uth goes through, and then what happens here? Can we just zoom in on this? Just have a little. Okay, so again, going to take the speed way down here. So Mustafi actually tackled it into the net. It counted as Mark Uth's goal, but yeah. 2-1 to Schalke in the end, but very, very infuriating goals to concede, really. Now, this is the game I thought I was going to come back for, but actually, nothing seemed to be happening. There was going to be almost nothing to play for, so my plan was to come back just for the last couple of games of the season and sort of maybe do that, or the last game of the season, do a good roundup video. But actually, when Bayern Munich lost that game against Hanover, I thought, and I saw the potential for us to potentially win the league, my mind just got carried away, and I thought, right, let's do the last 3 games. This is going to be the end of the series, so why the hell not? Why the hell not? But anyway, sorry, yeah, as I was saying, we rotated quite a lot for this game. Isaac and Traore with the goals. Bertrand Traore played an absolute blind. He's been very, very disappointing. He started off his Dortmund career very well, and sort of got a few goals in his first few games, and then he's just not scored since. He's only got about 5 goals this season, which is really, really disappointing from him. But nice to see Alexander Isaac getting his first goal for the Dortmund senior squad. He's got a couple of goals for the second side. Having said all that, actually it is predicated on the fact that we are gonna win all of these games, which is not a given our form this season, but especially our away form. It's not been too bad of late, but traditionally across the season it's not been fantastic. But we'll give it a go, and we can only do our bit. If Bayern Munich win the next game, they've won the league. So what I need to do, if they beat Leipzig, then they've won the league. But then, I mean, seconds on in that case. But I mean, what I think I need to do is, if that's the case, I'll cut out the middle game against Dusseldorf, and play the Werder Bremen and the Mönchengladbach games. Although perhaps maybe play that game, I don't know. I think I'll just cut out that game if that's in the eventuality that Bayern Munich beat Leipzig, and you know there's nothing for us to chase essentially. Right then, here we go for the Werder Bremen game. You can see Hertha Berlin are fighting for their lives down there. I mean, they're pretty much relegated. Dusseldorf have got to play us away. That's the only thing I would give them. But they have won a game, and if they hadn't won there, they would have been relegated. But yeah, anyway, into this game against Werder Bremen. See, we drew our game against them at home, but I know it was one of those games that we definitely should have won. Peter Bosch is the manager. Let's get into this one, and you know, I'm going to stick with Alexander Isak because maybe this complete forward thing is something to keep experimenting with. In terms of box-to-box midfielder, we are going to go with Thomas Delaney, who's been fabulous this season. Axel Witzel's going to come in as the deep line playmaker. Marcel Schmelzer's going to come out for Alberto Moreno. Toljan's going to come out for Hakimi, and then we're going to have Mustafi and Diallo as centre-backs, as is usually the case. And we're going to stick with Sancho because Marco Reus was awful in the last game. Shinji Kagawa is going to come out for Sergio Gomez, and Traore is going to start, and Isaac. I think that's all we're going to do. So that is the team to play Werder Bremen. Let's get into it. Let's do this game and see if we can try and put some pressure on Borussia Dortmund here. On Borussia Dortmund, with Borussia Dortmund, we'll try and put some pressure on Borussia Dortmund. No, we'll try and put some pressure on Bayern Munich. Let's get into the game. Just notice we don't have any fullbacks on the bench, and that is something I will remedy now. Okay, so I think they actually played with wing-backs last time we played, because I remember saying that the two Swedish contingent on the right wing-back and left wing-back, Augustinsson and Bejmo, but they've actually gone for a more traditional formation this time, gone for a 4-1-2-3 formation, and yeah, it's pretty standard. Milot Rashica, I know, is a good young Kosovan player who came from, Knowledge Bomb, Vitesse. Boom! Vitesse. There we go. Didn't score many goals for them, but Werder Bremen paid 6.25 million for him, so sweet. I'm going to passionately say we have a chance to qualify for the Champions League. They don't really like it, but let's do it and get into this really, really nice stadium from Werder Bremen. I'm not actually sure what it's called, the Werder Bremen Stadium. But anyway, we get into the game, and thankfully, looking at the highlights hasn't actually changed our match, the speed of the match, so we don't have to go through that again. Just going to pop the league table on there. Maybe we need later scores actually as well somewhere, which I will just put on here. No more, because we're the only ones playing, and we've got a corner headed away by Eggestein. Isaac. Sergio Gomez on his good left foot. Back post, Sancho. Traore! Saved by Yuri Pavlenka. That was a big chance for us early on here. Gomez again with the corner. Gomez's corners are fantastic. And Marco Reus was taking the other game, and they just weren't the same. But Cruiser has tackled Moreno there, Diallo, and he's also tackled Diallo, and now Werder Bremen are on the attack, on the counter attack. They've got men over. This is going to be a goal. Tommy, yeah, it's a goal, and that's absolutely ridiculous. Why did we lose the ball there? I mean, you can see it's pretty self-explanatory. It was a counter attack. I don't know why more players aren't going over there, why they're all getting drawn to the ball. But it was Rashik into the back post for Eric Tommy, and he slotted it away. I wasn't going to make a mistake with that one. So I did say that it was all predicated on the fact that we would win our games, and it's not looking likely at the minute. What a volley that was from Witzel though. Traore, Sancho. Another chance goes begging. Sometimes it's just not going to be your day when chances like that go begging. Mustafi's picked up an injury, and it's a tight hamstring. We're going to get him off because we don't want that turning into a pulled hamstring. So get him off straight away. Half time then, 1-0 to Werder Bremen, and all of this could be over within this first game, so that's what I'll do. If we do lose the game, I'll just skip on to the Mönchengladbach game, the final game of the season. But I think we're going to come back and we're going to win, so yeah. Aggressively say, show me something else in the second half, get into the second half, and hopefully we can do something in this second half. I said second half about 500 times there. Highlight after 47 minutes. Can we win the ball back? Augustinsson, Tommy, through for Cruiser, and what is the defence doing? That was Marcus Rojo, wasn't it? What is Marcus Rojo? They've got a corner now. Tommy knocks it in, who's caused us problems all day, and that's headed away by Jadon Sancho. But Eric Tommy's causing us all kinds of problems. Got another highlight, and it's knocked forward for Isaac. Moisander knocks it back now to Pavlenka. We do win it back, and here's Bertrand Traore. Isaac. Can he square it? Isaac. Oh, that's terrible. We were in such a good position there and he just didn't do anything with the ball. And now it looks like they've got a man over again. It's Tommy and it's 2-0. And I think that's buried it. I mean, we've been so good in this second half of the season. I just can't understand why we do stupid things like this. Look, this point, we're okay. Why does it end up being that there's a player all on his own on that side? I just don't get it. Like, we're all right. It's 3-on-3. You know what? It's actually 3-on-4. But Cruiser, yeah, where is Hakimi going? Where is he going? And then, if they'd all just stepped up, they would have all just played him offside. But he decides, oh no, you know what, I'm not going to start running back now. It's too bloody late. Plays it to Tommy, and that's it. 2-0. And you know what's silly is that it's not even reflected in Hakimi's rating. He's one of the best defenders, rating-wise on the pitch. We're just going to make some substitutions. Isaac's been terrible. We're going to get Philip on there. Not Toljan, and I'm sick of that happening. Maximilian Philip's going to go up there, and we're going to play him as the pressing forward on attack. Gomez has not had a good game. We're going to get off for Mario Götze. And that's the only substitutions we can make because of Skodro Mustafi's lovely injury, and that was another massive chance for Werder Bremen, which they've spurned. But it's not looking. I'm going to demand more because this is just not on. Pavlenka with an absolutely pinpoint pass to Augustinson. It's just another ball over the top that Hakimi decides he wants to deal with this time. Bergfrede, Klaassen. Cross for Martin Harnik. He's a name that's been going around the Bundesliga for years and years. Former Stuttgart player, Eggestein. Klaassen. We've just given up, it looks like. Traore over the top. Phillips in. Maximilian Philip. He's dug us out some holes before. Can he do this? I'm pretty sure he's just trying to chip the bloody goalkeeper. What an idiot. What an idiot. 85 minutes gone and we're just not getting back into this game, are we? So our title hopes are over. Not that there were massive title hopes anyway, but they are over. So 2-0 then, and Tommy takes all the praise. Eric Tommy there. He looks a very decent player actually. He's 24. He's on loan from Stuttgart actually. Yeah, I mean they just didn't play him, and he looks a really decent player. But he's absolutely dominated us today. 2-0, and that is our title hopes over. I'm now going to skip the game against I think it's Dusseldorf. I'm just really disappointed with that result. We were way too open at the back. I don't know what happened. I mean, I know obviously we're playing away from home. They actually dominated the ball against us as well, which just doesn't happen to us very often. But yeah, we're not very good. And it's one of the only games I would actually say this season where I'd say we actually didn't deserve anything from the game. I mean, they had 3 clear-cut chances and we had 3 clear-cut chances as well, but ultimately, they put their chances away and we didn't. Maximilian Philip tried a stupid chip right at the end. Why didn't he just put his bloody foot through the ball? And that's been our downfall really. We've gone to mid-table sides and drawn or lost. Well, not so much lost because we haven't lost many games this season, but we've gone to mid-table sides and we've drawn. We've been at home against mid-table sides and we've drawn. We just haven't been able to put teams away, but the 2 Swedish fullbacks had an absolute field day today, as did obviously the aforementioned Eric Tommy. But title hopes over, and there's confirmation really that we can't win the title anymore. We've got 6 points to play for, and Bayern Munich is 7 points ahead, so it's mathematically impossible. I will say though that Leipzig have still got a chance and they should keep on pushing. If they can beat Bayern Munich at home, they have got a massive chance of winning this league title, so they should keep on going. There we go, Bundesliga hopes over and Mustafi's injury is confirmed as well. Maximilian Philip hasn't scored in ages, I don't really care about that. And I'm just going to send the assistant because I am annoyed at the minute. Right, so the plan is, as I mentioned, we're going to skip the Fortuna Dusseldorf game and get onto the Mönchengladbach game, and then we're going to come back for all of the end of season stuff. So far, this guy, Christian Titz, manager of Hamburg. Oh, I'm so childish, like Christian Titz. Titz appeared rather cautious in response and said, "I am not interested in the play. I don't know where this story has come from." Oh. I don't even know who to talk about. It's just, Christian Titz. Classic. Right then everyone, so we're back for the Mönchengladbach game, and I just want to take you through a few things before we obviously get into that. We beat Dusseldorf 3-1, very comfortable win. Goals from Weigl, Pulisic and Jadon Sancho sealed the victory for us, with our old thorn in our side, Takashi Usami, the Japanese player who got a brace past us last time, continued his fantastic goal scoring form against us and got a 27th minute goal. But ultimately, we were too strong for Fortuna Dusseldorf, who were battling relegation. So, 3-1 victory. Well deserved. So as you can see, Bayern in the last round of games actually beat Leipzig 1-0 with a solitary Robert Lewandowski goal. So what that means is that we could actually usurp Leipzig and finish second. They play Werder Bremen away from home, who have just beaten us 2-0. So presumably they're going to be a fairly tough opponent. They've got no chance of relegation. They're not actually fighting for anything, which is a bit annoying, but the fact that they managed to beat us. But hopefully we can win our game against Mönchengladbach and put the pressure on Leipzig to win their game also. So there is that Leipzig Werder Bremen game, and like I say, second it'll be a really good result actually for us, which is where I probably should have been aiming to finish in the first place, in all honesty. So this is the team that we're going to go with today to play against Borussia Mönchengladbach. We're going with Berkey in goal, Diallo and Mustafi at the back, Moreno and Toljan as the fullbacks. Toljan has just impressed me more than Achraf Hakimi, in all honesty. Hakimi's couple of mistakes in the Werder Bremen game really annoyed us a little bit. The game didn't register as his fault, but he completely just switched off. So I didn't like that. The usual Witsel and Delaney in that midfield, with Marco Reus coming back in at left inside forward, Pulisic and Sergio Gomez as the advanced playmaker, with Maximilian Philipp up front. Jadon Sancho drops to the bench with Goetze, Weigl, Kagawa, Alexander Isak, Ömer Toprak and Achraf Hakimi as the substitutes. Now, let's get into the game. So they go with the classic 4-4-2. Now, traditionally we have had a bit of success against 4-4-2 formations, but the pacey Alassane player, coupled with the journeyman, not the journeyman, but the veteran that is Rafael, and is actually joining, I think that's Sao Paulo, is it? Yeah, it's Sao Paulo. Actually rejoining Sao Paulo. Well, maybe not rejoining. I don't know if he played for them. No, he didn't. But yeah, he is a bit of a journeyman actually. But he's scored goals wherever he's been really. But he's just not pacey like players. If we look at players, he's got 16 pace, 14 acceleration, very quick forward. Signed from Nice in real life. Who's had a good start to his Mönchengladbach career in real life, I think. I've been following the Bundesliga obviously a little bit. But anyway, back into the world of Football Manager. And has he had a good season on the game? Let's have a look. He's got 4 in 23, so the answer to that is no. One thing to note before we do get into the game, obviously we have now qualified for the Champions League. The teams behind us can't catch us if we just take a look at our standing in the Bundesliga. So Bayer Leverkusen have managed to reassert themselves. Mine have dropped off a little bit, but it is up for grabs, and Hanover could actually sneak in there at the last minute. They're playing Dusseldorf away from home, so they've got a really good chance to do that. Bayer are playing, Hertha Berlin are already relegated, and Dusseldorf are fighting for that absolute life. So potentially that's a tougher game actually for Hanover. But it'd be nice to see Hanover get into the Champions League as opposed to Bayer Leverkusen, who were Champions League and Europa League regulars. I'm gonna hand this over to the assistant. I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna do that, and they seem motivated. So maybe should do it more often. Right then, so we'll get into the game. What we're gonna have to do is put the latest scores on, because I think that obviously has a massive bearing on where we finish, so we'll just try and put this nice and tight. We've got a first highlight of the game. It's a nice ball inside for Marco Reus. Can he cut it back? He doesn't. He should have, and he didn't, and he was greedy, and it ended up that right. Hold on. I'm having a bit of trouble with these latest scores malarkey. Also going to get the league table up there just to show us what's going on, because actually Fortuna Dusseldorf have taken the lead against Hanover, which has a massive bearing on the relegation battle and the battle for the top 4, which it consolidates Bayer Leverkusen's position as the top 4 club. But we do have a highlight, which I will get into now, I promise. The Royce takes the free kick, back post, Diallo, it's headed in, and we're 1-0 up already. There's only 3 minutes gone, and how are Leipzig doing? That is the question. They're still 0-0 against Werder Bremen. We must bear in mind that there's only 3 minutes gone, so Abdou Diallo gets his first goal of the season. It's a good header, and Jan Sommer should probably do better at his near post. I would have expected better from my goalkeeper, in all honesty. Also, just going to stop this and get a similar thing going on here, so we'll have a look at the latest scores, and it's the Leipzig game we really need to keep an eye. Leipzig have scored, so Leipzig are 1-0 up. Timo Werner in the 4th minute has scored, so they are looking good for second place. A draw will do. If Werder Bremen can get themselves an equaliser, that would be great. But for now, Leipzig lead. The highlight for us then after 8 minutes, and Royce whips in the corner. Diallo back to Marco Reus, who gives it away to Hoffmann. Former Dortmund player, I think, Jonas Hoffmann, if it is Jonas Hoffmann. Torgan Hazard, player heads on, but Alberto Moreno can clean up there. He's a very pacey player, so it's a good job that he was there. Mustafi to Berkey, and that's a nice ball out to Toljan. We're playing it nicely out from the back. Pulisic now driving at the defensive Mönchengladbach. Philipp goes through and he's scored. And Maximilian Philipp breaks a goal drought for, it's been a goal drought for many a moon now. But he's managed to break it and he's got his 90th goal of the season. I'd like to see him get 20, to be honest with you. I would like to see that. You can see that Leipzig have taken a 2-goal lead now and it's not looking likely that we're going to get second place. Werner and Sabitzer with the goals as time's ticking away. It doesn't look like Werder Bremen are going to get back into it, but never say never. Werder Bremen have scored and Milos Velikovic with the goal as Royce whips it in for us. Toljan! Sommer saves. But it's now 3-1 to Leipzig. It's all going crazy at the end of the season here. Dusseldorf still leading over Hanover and Hertha Berlin 0-0 with Bayer Leverkusen. As Alassane Player comes forward. Torgan Hazard. Great save by Berkey, but he should have put that away. And 36 minutes gone. It's still 3-1 to Leipzig. And we've got a corner. Can we put a real stamp on this game? Hoffmann. Are they going to counter-attack now? Jonas Hoffmann is pacey, if I remember correctly. Toljan heads it to Alberto Moreno, who gives it away. And that's a nice, real slide rule pass there for Alassane Player. Really good save by Roman Burki to deny him. Diallo plays it to Alberto Moreno. 42 minutes gone. We're having quite a few highlights. It's quite an open game. As Royce, Philipp Sommer didn't get there. Jan Sommer is having an absolute nightmare, and Maximilian Philipp does get his 20th goal of the season, which is nice. As we can see that Marco Reus down the left hand side with another assist. We've missed him for parts of this season. He's been very injury prone, but Sommer got nowhere near it. Got a touch on the header from Philipp, but couldn't keep it out. 3-0. So Leipzig now is 3-2 against Werder Bremen. We can do with Werder Bremen getting one more goal, and we will actually go ahead of them on points. So we head into half time and you can see that Leipzig are 3-2 up. It's a very tentative lead by all accounts, but Bayern have taken the lead against Eintracht Frankfurt and Fortuna Dusseldorf 1-0 up against Hanover. So Hanover actually got no chance at the minute of qualifying for the Champions League, but Bayer Leverkusen 0-0 against Hertha Berlin. And let's get into the second half and see if Werder Bremen can overturn the deficit against Leipzig. So I'm very happy with the way things are going. Keep it up, lads. I just don't want anybody to get complacent in the second half, because that tends to happen on Football Manager and you could end up drawing the game 3-3. So right then, so we're underway for the second half as Kramer versus Kramer, and we've got a highlight straight away. It's going to happen, isn't it, now that I've said it as well? Hoffmann to Player. Lang. Across for Fabian Johnson, I assume that is. Johnson. Dermich. Witzel looks like he blocked that one, and it was actually a really vital block from Axel Witzel. And it's pumped in by Hoffmann and it's headed away by Abdou Diallo, and the highlight does end there. But they've got another corner which Hoffmann takes. Ginter can't get there again. Another former Borussia Dortmund player. Hoffmann cross for Dermich, but can we break? Pulisic. Royce got some pace on that left hand side. Tries to play it to Philipp but can't find him as Lang cuts it out now. Ginter for Elvedi. Durmic. Josip Durmic. Fabian Johnson. Durmic. And it's over the bar. So eyes fixed on that Werder Bremen Leipzig game. It's still 3-2. No goals in the second half as of yet. And we're going to have to probably make some substitutions as Marco Reus picks up a bug, and he's got 2 assists in this game. 2 goals for Maximilian Philipp. But Sergio Gomez is going to come off for Shinji Kagawa. And I think that's the only change we'll make for now. 70 minutes gone, still 3-2 to Leipzig. And I'm just hoping and praying at this point that Werder Bremen can pick up a goal. And I'm going to make a couple of substitutions to waste some time. Thomas Delaney is going to come off for Goethe. That is strange. Undo. Goethe is going to come on. Is that sub 5? Yeah, for Delaney. There we go. Mario Goethe. Box to box. Doesn't like it, but I don't really care. What happens if we have 3 playmakers on the pitch? I wonder what will happen there. It might be quite weird. And we're going to get Toljan off for Ashraf Hakimi as the last substitute. It's now 4-2 to RB Leipzig, and Timo Werner has got himself a hat-trick, which basically sums up their season, because Timo Werner scored about 29 goals in the league. He's been far and away the top scorer. It's all over here though at the, I'm not sure what Borussia Mönchengladbach stadium's called. It might just be the BMG Arena. I'm going to have to look that up now. I'm going to have to look it up. Borussia Park, not the BMG Arena. I knew it was something similar to that, but yeah, it's a massive stadium, really nice stadium in real life. But yeah, 3-0 to us in the night. We didn't dominate the game, but it just shows you sometimes, it was a very similar game to the Werder Bremen game. It's just that we made no ridiculous mistakes at the back, and we ended up winning 3-0. But that's how it goes sometimes. 3-0 to Dortmund, and unfortunately, Leipzig did manage to beat Werder Bremen, so we didn't clinch the second spot. But yeah, now we're going to go and have a look at some of the things that happen around the world, and after the final Bundesliga game, just take a look at some of the stats and things about the Bundesliga and review our season, basically. There we go then, so that's the Bundesliga table for this season. We've finished in a respectable third position. We just drew far too many games, didn't score enough goals. I think that was partially down to the use of the tiki-taka tactic early on in the season, but third isn't a bad result. It's just that, as a team with Dortmund's stature would probably be expecting to challenge for the title this year, which we weren't able to do, and we didn't get very far in the Champions League either. But it's just one of those things. Bundesliga table-wise, there is anything in there that we've kind of missed. Nuremberg got relegated along with Hertha Berlin, and Fortuna Düsseldorf will play in the relegation playoffs. That'll be interesting to see if they can actually stay up via the playoffs. But actually, we'll have a look who they'll be playing against. If we go to the Bundesliga 2, they will be playing against Hamburg, so that's going to be a really tough game as Darmstadt and FC Köln win promotion to the Bundesliga from Bundesliga 2, and Sandhausen and Erzgebirge Aue. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I've got no idea. Erzgebirge Aue. Erzgebirge Aue. Anyway, they got relegated alongside SV Sandhausen, or SV Sandhausen, and Dynamo Dresden will compete in the playoffs. Will they? Yeah, most likely will compete in the playoffs with the third Liga team, but we can't see that because only the Bundesliga 2's playable on this game, unfortunately, because it came out before that. Obviously, I could. The beta came out before I could obviously implement some league packs. So that's where we are. But the Champions League places belong to Bayern, who won the league, obviously. They only scored 55 goals, and that is a really, really low tally. I mean, if we look at Bayern's past, if you look at history, competitions, and domestic leagues. So when they've won the leagues in the past, they've got 98 goals, 94, 80, 89, 92. This season, they've got 55 goals. It's been a really low scoring season. We only got 49, Leverkusen 52. The highest scoring team by some distance was RB Leipzig with 68, and I think about 29 of those, as I said before, came from Timo Werner. So a really low scoring season, actually. I'd like to see how many goals were actually scored in total. Amongst the teams, and see if that's a very, very low tally, average goal tally, as you would normally find. I just find that would be very low. I don't know though. I'm just speculating at this point. But the Champions League spots: Bayern, Leipzig, Dortmund, and Bayer Leverkusen. Hannover weren't able to sneak in, but they did. What happened here? Because they're both on the same points. I think Hannover were maybe 1 point behind at some point. But if we have a look at the matches, what actually happened in those games. So Hannover did manage to equalise, and Bayer Leverkusen lost. Hannover were 1 goal away from entering the Champions League group stages alongside us, Leipzig, and Bayern Munich, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it in. That Raman goal really did sort of destroy their hopes early on. But Solomon Kalou scored a penalty against Bayer Leverkusen to basically put the shits up them. So Hannover go into the Europa League. I'm not sure why these haven't been determined yet. I think it may be to do with the winner of the German Cup, because I think Mönchengladbach are in it. So if they win it, it might be the case that there's one less team actually gets it, and it'll go to Mönchengladbach if they win the. I'm not even sure. I don't even know who's in the German Cup. If we will be able to find out though. Bundesliga 2, German Cup. So it's Mainz. So I assume that if Mainz get it, then it'll only be Schalke that I don't know how it's going to work. But anyway, Mainz had a really good season considering their stature, alongside Hannover, who both got 60 points. It was so close. Look at that. If either of those two had a better goal difference, they would have got in over Bayer Leverkusen. They've squeaked in there. They really have. And Schalke on 49. It's a long way down from there. There was kind of a top band there, top 6. with Bayern probably taken away. We were only 1 point off second place with a much worse goal difference, however. But third place for us in the end in the Bundesliga, not too bad. Whew, Jesus Christ, £78.75 million for achieving third place in the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga prize money is absolutely crazy. If we go on the Bundesliga and have a look at the rules, I think it'll say on here how much. 96 million for the winner. You know, that's an extra £5 million right there for finishing in second. It would have been. So third was a good result in the end, considering prize money. I mean, it does drop down quite significantly. But even like for small clubs, a team like Fortuna Dusseldorf, £30 million for finishing 16th is absolutely nuts. I wonder what it's like in the second Bundesliga. Even the second Bundesliga is a lot of prize money. Like £15 million for winning the second Bundesliga. Like, you know, like teams that are finishing 5th and 6th getting 12 million pounds a season. I'm not even sure that, you know, if we look at some of the teams that are in there and the statures, if we have a look, who's finished in these spots? So Arminia Bielefeld, St. Pauli, let's have a look. So Arminia Bielefeld, if we have a look at their sort of, you know, the wages of some of their players, you know, Stefan Ortega, 7k a week, Seufert, 3.6k a week, Max Christiansen, 7.7. So that, you know, the outgoings aren't massive, and they're getting quite a lot of quite a lot of income. That's quite interesting, that really. So we've got quite an interesting screen here, which is our season injury report. See, Manuel Akanji's obviously missed a lot of the season with damaged cruciate ligaments. Marco Reus had 6 injuries, which made him miss 32% of the games, and he's obviously one of our key players. But I was happy with the players that came in to sort of provide backup for him. The likes of Jadon Sancho proved a good, you know, a good enough replacement really in the circumstances. But see, some of our other players, Alabakir picked up 8 injuries, very niggly injuries, because the longest one was for 4 weeks, which was a sports hernia. But he's got a little bit of potential. Alabakir, he's scored a lot of goals, I think, over the course of the season in the youth teams. So you know, there's very niggly injuries here. People like Sancho with niggly injuries there with 4. Pulisic picked up 5. I know he was very injury prone earlier in the season, got fitter towards the end. Traore, who's injured at the minute, between 8 days and 3 weeks, picked up quite a few injuries. But other than that, we were pretty injury free. But injuries tended to happen before the update, and I think the update kind of sorted them out really. Right then, I'm just going to go on holiday until the award winners are announced. I don't think they've been announced yet, so I'll go through them as and when I get them. Basically, I've just holidayed in the future, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the squad. I've actually sold Roman Berkey to Tottenham for £20 million because I thought that is ridiculously a good deal, considering that he's, you know, he wasn't great, was he? Let's be honest. He did make some good saves, but he wasn't fantastic. And we've got this young kid coming through, Luka Umbahan, who I think is going to be excellent in the future. So, I mean, I'm planning for the futures if I'm going to play more of this save, but I'm not, obviously. I mean, if you just go through some of the average ratings and things and have a look at, you know, who impressed me in the save. I mean, Mustafi actually only got a 6.8 average rating in the 19 games that he played, but I felt like he was solid. I felt like he sort of solidified that defence. Toprak, 7.07, he was okay. Akanji didn't play too well. What's surprising is that Marcus Rojo actually got a 7.12 average rating, whether that was bumped up by the couple of goals that he scored, but he was pretty good. And 6.91 isn't too bad from Abdou Diallo either. You know, a goal, and he played lots of games for us. He was pretty good actually. I was impressed with him, and he's got room to improve as well. So, good centre back. I would say, you know, he'd be a good signing for any, you know, top side. Diallo really, he's got really good stats. The only thing that lets him down a little bit is his first touch, but again, his mentals are very good for a centre-back. Concentration's a little bit lacking, which maybe we saw a little bit towards the end of the season. But yeah, Rojo was decent enough. He came in on loan from Manchester United when we were a bit down on centre-backs. So Lucas Piszczek, he was good, he was alright. You know, it speaks for itself really. 2 assists. Achraf Hakimi was much better, and actually Schmelzer was very good in the games that he played. But I think if he played more games, his rating would have gone down. His average rating. Achraf Hakimi was probably the best right back that we had. Although Toljan did have, you know, a pretty good time of it, to be honest, as well. And I was quite impressed with his work when he did come in. Witsel, 6.96 average rating. He was unhappy for quite a portion of the season, and he just didn't really impress me, to be honest. Delaney did. Delaney was fantastic, and again, he's a box-to-box midfielder that I would have in any team probably. Some of his attacking stats are a little bit lacking, but he got forward well, and he did score a couple of goals. Sebastian Rode was decent when he played. Julian Weigl again was probably better than Axel Witsel, in all honesty. Mario Götze was okay. Again, that attacking midfield position I just couldn't get to work really. Shinji Kaga was very poor. I was very disappointed with his contributions really. Traore very much so. I mean, 8 assists and 5 goals in 33 games is not what you would call, and I probably, he's wanted by Burnley apparently, so if they can fork out 30-35 million pounds for a player, I'd be happy to sell Bertrand Traore in this window. I think Jadon Sancho was pretty decent. I mean, he's got 3 assists and 5 goals, but he only started 17 games. He's very young, he's going to improve, isn't he? Sergio Gomez, who, if I was to play the save going forward, I'd definitely give more game time to. I'd be tempted to sell Marco Reus as well in the summer. We did get an offer for him in January of about £75 million, but something like that, I'd be happy to sell him. He's 30 now, he's only going to decline. He wasn't great when he played. He was okay, I guess. 7 goals is decent, but Maximilian Philip was probably the best player that we had in this save. He went through spurts of scoring and then not scoring and then scoring and then not scoring. Christian Pulisic, another one who was quite disappointing in terms of goals. He only scored 3 goals in 26 games, which for an inside forward winger type is very, very low, and Alcacer and Isaac were very much on the fringes. So, I have enjoyed this save. It's been quite tough actually, and that's something that I enjoy. I enjoy a bit of a challenge, and I think if I was to go and try and improve the squad, I actually made a bid for Geronimo Rulli. I don't know why I did that. You can see you got transfers here. We've got £77 million in the bank from that £20 million. We got from Roman Berkey as well, and a lot of wages, so there's a lot of room to improve the squad there. And I think Geronimo Rulli is a keeper that's probably better, as good if not better than Roman Berkey, and he was only going to cost £12 million, so that would have been a bit of a snip really. And he is a sweeper keeper as well, so and Marvin Hitz, again, another keeper that we could probably look to move on, get some money in. There's a few players here who probably want to move on, the likes of Ömer Toprak, who's unhappy to bring another centre-back, another younger centre-back in, potentially a German centre-back, maybe somebody like Matthias Ginter to bring him back from Mönchengladbach, somebody like that, maybe Nico Elvedi. Somebody like that, and obviously we need a replacement right back, because Hakimi and Piszczek are both going to be gone. We're only going to be left with Toljan, so we probably need a pretty good right back as well. Moreno and Schmelzer are good enough as left backs. They promised Schmelzer that we win the league or strengthen the squad or something along those lines, so it's not going to matter. But midfield wise, we have got some good central midfield players. I think that's a solid core really. Goethe and Kagawa are probably 2 players I'd look to move on. Goethe's likely on massive wages, 170k a week, and Kagawa is only on 69, but again, he's 30. He's the wrong side of the age that I like to have players. I'd probably be looking to move him on as well. Keeping all these young players, of course, the likes of Sancho and Gomez, who've got massive potential. And I'd probably keep Philip around as a backup, but I'd probably be looking to get a new striker in, a really quality striker. And obviously having Zagadou coming back off loan as well, and Jakob Brun Larsen as well, so they provide some depth if I was to carry on this save. But yeah, this is the last episode of the Borussia Dortmund FM19 beta save with me through Ball of him, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I know that, like I said before, I've enjoyed it. It's just been it's been very tough, and I've kind of liked that. And I think with another season we could go on to win, challenge Bayern next season. The Champions League would obviously still be a bit of a tough challenge, but I just think that with the resources that Dortmund have got and the talent in the squad, I think it would be doable next season. But thanks everyone again for watching now, and I will be releasing some new content soon. I'm still not sure what that's going to look like. Currently, the 2 frontrunners are looking like doing an African save. If I can get some leagues, if somebody uploads some leagues to the workshop, like Nigeria or Congo, I think that would be really interesting to do some of the African Champions League stuff. I don't want to manage in South Africa because I don't find it interesting. Find somewhere like Nigeria where you're going to get really good regens coming through a team like Enyimba or Enugu Rangers, somebody like that, that would be just really, really interesting to me. So I think something like that might, but I'm struggling to find, there's no league updates at the minute. So if anybody could do that for me, that'd be amazing. I'm not quite sure how to do it. So there's either that or there's the option of a European journeyman, which I've also been toying with. The only thing with the journeyman is that I'm going to have limited time, and I'm only going to be able to upload a maximum of probably 3 times per week. So that's probably going to be off the cards really, because it'll take some time to do. So that is my schedule really. If you could drop a like, comment or subscribe on the series, share it. Tell anybody that likes Football Manager or likes football to watch this series, to give me a like and to give me a comment, subscribe, just interact with me. That would help me greatly. Thanks everyone for watching now. Bye bye. Liverpool have won the bloody league.